Israel says a string of errors and a breakdown in communication are to blame for the deaths of 7 aid workers. The World Central Kitchen workers were killed in an airstrike in Gaza earlier this week. Israel says army personnel did not fully vet them as a threat or not. But as a result of this deadly attack, President Biden has given Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu an ultimatum, which includes securing the release of the remaining hostages. Biden sending CIA Director Bill Burns to join in the talks this weekend in Cairo. NewsNation's Joe Khalil is following this story, joins us live from D.C. And Joe, the hope is really that the CIA Director could help secure a deal with Hamas.
Yeah, that's the hope. And it begins with the central question of whether a ceasefire is on the horizon. CIA Director Bill Burns going to Cairo, hoping that his presence might be able to spark again these negotiations that may ultimately lead to some kind of pause in the fighting and a release of these hostages. Remember, there are 134 Israeli hostages that Hamas still has. Israel also still says that it is planning some kind of ground invasion into Rafah, this area where there very well may be Hamas elements. But remember, there are also hundreds of thousands of innocent Palestinian civilians living in Rafah now. They've taken shelter there after they were displaced from their homes from the fighting. So there are no easy answers here. And Burns, being there, hopefully will be able to further along that discussion. It does appear as though Israel has taken concrete steps toward things that President Biden has been demanding. After his phone call with Prime Minister Netanyahu, within 24 hours, you've now got 3 different locations where aid can come into Gaza that were not open before. So those aren't all the demands that President Biden made, but certainly it is a step in the direction of Israel complying with now what American officials are asking. And let's also remember that report that you mentioned, top Israeli officials now talking about their investigation they did into that tragic death, those 7 aid workers from World Central Kitchen. Israeli officials now with the IDF saying it was a grave mistake. They pointed to 2 specific officers who they said had bad information, faulty intel, and they said even with that intel, they also made the wrong decisions. So that is what we know now. John Kirby earlier today said the U.S. is themselves going to look at the results of this Israeli investigation and make its own determination. Nichole.
All right, Joe Khalil live for us there in D.C. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.